So you guys want to go to the neighborhood store with me and get some water and some propane for the garage furnace? Thought it might be a fun drive. This is my GoPro Motorola phone. I'm strapping it on the sun visor. I don't know if it'll work. We'll see. Thought you might like to look at the neighborhood. We're driving the Austin America today. It's a 68. It's an automatic transmission, but currently I have to manually shift it. But it's a fun little car, and it sounds perfect. Manual Kangol seat belts in this. Very hard to adjust. And impossible to move about when they are adjusted. So you must make sure everything is at your fingertips when you're lashed in. We'll make a 17-point turn because these cars do not have a super sharp turning radius, and it makes clicky clickies because it needs some new front end parts. New drive lane parts anyway. Here we go. I hope you guys can see. I don't know. Oh, the clankety clanky that you're hearing, that is a bad bushing in the steering rack. It's not unsafe, it's just unsavory. You might think the gate is for our privacy, but it's actually to keep the coyotes out from just strolling in and eating the cats. At least the cats can get away from most things there. It'll be interesting to see if you can tell how smooth this thing is when we're driving. This has hydroelastic suspension in it, which means it's basically sitting on rubber cones and they displace a hydraulic fluid in them. And they're interconnected back to front, and they just make washboard disappear. I mean, you can hear it because of the steering rack, but you can't feel it when you're riding in the car. Just have to watch the sump height on this guy because it's short on these little 12-inch tires, but you know, they rallied them and they won, so crazy. I live in this. This is my neighborhood. This is a street in my neighborhood. I love it. Haven't seen my dog pals here for a while. They were older. I hope they're all right. This is the grill I'm always joking about up here. always wishing when I go by here on my mountain bike that they would be open so I could get a street taco. But it's just parked there, darn it. This is the perfect car for my neighborhood. It sounds like we're grounding out, kids, but we're not. Don't you wish your neighbor could look like this? I have a rally neighborhood, kids. I love the shifts in this car. They are instantaneous. I will slow down for oncoming traffic because they don't know that I can go 500 miles an hour in this car on crappy roads. But isn't it fun? 25 miles an hour feels like 100 in this car, and I love that. You're sitting on the street. Wow, I got into fourth gear in my neighborhood. Yeah! Look at this house, you guys. I want to drive through the driveway, but I won't. But look at this. They're building some cool shit up here in the desert. Can you see that? Isn't that a groovy place? I love it. It's that rusted metal, but the way they've laid it horizontal, it looks like a modern log cabin. I dig it. Oh, we'll wait for the traffic jam to clear. That's not ever gonna happen. People are on their way to work. And they're almost all waving at me. That rather shrill scream that you're hearing is actually the cooling fan. On these cars, the massive 1275 engine is laid transverse with the engine, with the transmission underneath it in the sump. They share the same oil, and it uses engine oil for the automatic transmission as well. And the fan that's mounted on the engine points sideways, obviously, at the left fender, the driver's side fender, US driver's side fender. And it blows air through this tiny little radiator that's mounted on the same unit. You can drop the entire power unit with the radiator and everything. So that right there, that is fourth gear, baby. And we're almost at 55. So they might have called it the Austin America, but they didn't gear it for America. And therein, I think, was the problem. But I love the car for what it is. get rid of a little bit of the wind noise maybe. So that's 65, you know, it'll buzz. But, you know, the wind is with me today because we're going uphill, and normally if the wind was going from the north like it normally is this time of year right here, we would not be going this fast. Oh, and the 35 mile an hour speed limit that I am violating by 30 miles per hour, that's only when they're working, so don't get upset and uptight. Peace and love, as Ringo says. Put up the flaps and we'll throw out the hooks here in a minute. Actually, these cars stop pretty good because they've got pretty good sized discs on the front. Fairly powerful, although you do have to stand on them. We'll see if we can get in the parking lot here. It tends to be kind of a rowdy place. We're going to the Mesa market. This is it, kids. Talk to you on the return trip.